Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited you could be here because today we're talking about my favorite topic ever, which is getting money at 0%. I love this. Like, if I could just get everybody funding at 0%, it's all I do because the cheaper the money is that you can actually access, the more of it you can get. And we both know that the more of it you can get, the more you can do to grow your business even faster. So we're going to break it all down for you today. I'm so really excited to have Andrew Imbesi with us today. Now, Andrew is the CEO and co-founder of Group LLC. He went from a broke DoorDash driver with less than $1,000 to his name to now making $1.2 million a month through his income and investments. Now, providing access to 0% interest business credit ranging from 50 to 150K in less than 30 days, he is empowering individuals to seize opportunities across various different industries. Now, Andrew's mission is to help others learn about and utilize 0% interest funding to enhance their lives, demonstrates a commitment to maximizing profit while also contributing positively to the lives of others. Now, his story serves as a testament to the power of determination, resourcefulness, and strategic financial management. Andrew, thanks for joining us today.
Wow, what an intro. And my pleasure to be here. Thank you for that intro.
Yo, you're killing it, man. I mean, I had the honor of weeks back of speaking to your mastermind and just smart group. And it was interesting to be in there and see the testimonials in the chat of this. I mean, it's literally life changing. It's one thing to read and talk to you about what you've done and call it life changing, but I mean, these people are literally just saying, "Man, this is what this guy did for me," and they're talking about the stories about what you did to change their lives. So just kudos to you, man. I mean, how's it feel going from DoorDash driver to like having the impact on people's lives that you've had?
It feels very fulfilling. I gotta say, if I had to sum it in one word, it definitely feels fulfilling because it's something that worked for me. And I knew it was something I could help other people with. Because, about 3, 4 years ago, I was just like everyone else starting out online, looking for things that work, trying to invest in myself, trying to start a business or investment. And, I knew I had to find something that could work. And I discovered very quickly through burning, $10,000 through a bunch of courses that I should really look into getting a mentor. And the problem was that mentors cost a lot more money than, $1,000 here, or, just doing like, not getting that hand holding sort of experience when it comes to learning skills such as sales or marketing or, business organization. And so I had an opportunity presented to me, and it required me to have, I think, around $15,000, and I got around $30,000 of 0% interest credit. And the rest is history. I had done the whole funding cycle multiple times to get to this point, and now I would say I have over $1 million of credit.
What was it like before you got there? Like before you discovered the path to 0% funding, you and I both know launching a new business is really expensive, way more expensive than you account for. And it's hard, man. Nobody wants to give money to newer business. A lot of entrepreneurs right now are watching and listening to this that are in that bucket. So talk to me a bit. What was the struggle like before you found the solution of trying to launch this thing and grow in business without access to the capital?
That's a great question. And a lot of it is just, seeking out opportunities on your own. And the problem with that is that if you want to really get your hands on things that are going to speed up the process much quicker, it's going to require some capital to, rub shoulders with people who are doing the things that you want to be doing yourself. And that was one of the big things, was that I had these thoughts in my mind thinking, this can't be, like where I was currently at the time. Like, this can't be it. And I don't want to have money problems. And I had all these, negative thoughts in my mind about my situation, how I wasn't happy with my situation. And I saw that the way out was to get my hands on 0% interest funding, to be able to invest in those mentors who were able to, put away some time for me and teach me the things that they had known so I could develop real business skills that I could use to grow and expand.
So I've known clients that have done the 0% funding before. I'm talked to some that have worked with companies that didn't, not very happy. And I've talked to others that have found masterminds or courses that on it and they were not very happy either. So what are you doing so different? Because when I'm in your community is like freaking out. They're so excited and happy about what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I've seen enough people that were not happy with the result they get. So what are you guys doing that's so phenomenal to get the results and the happy clients that you're getting?
That's a great question. And we get that a lot. Sometimes we'll have people that, hop on to one of our sales calls with one of our advisors, and they'll explain about a negative experience with a different company and that they're just looking for more guidance. So, um, a lot of what we do is that service really matters. Like, I've been a part of many programs myself to experience it myself. And I understand, just based on that story that I just mentioned to you before you even asked that question, was that I was looking for many different things. I burned through a lot of money trying to do everything myself and without having someone that works one on one with me. And so I know a lot of different companies, right? They'll, just do applications online algorithmically. But I think the advantage that we have is that we're actually working one on one with every single person that joins our program. And we have a, a pretty big staff now. Like, it used to be just me about 2 years ago. And we've since then expanded. And now we have maybe over 60 or 70 employees on the team, and over 15 of which are what we call funding supervisors, that they have a very detailed process. Like, this is what you do during this time of the day. This is what you do during this time of the day, right? We really just locked in on the process of, okay, this is what you do during this time of the day. And so this allows us to be able to help and reach more people when they have a really good schedule. When you focus on your team schedule and what that looks like from your client's perspective, because that's what matters, right? Is the clients. So, you want to make sure that they could all be helped. All the team is trained. It's like, if you're going to start a business, you got to make sure that you're ready to train people inside your business, because you have to duplicate yourself to grow and make a bigger impact. So I think we've been able to maintain a high quality of service because I was able to figure out how to do it for myself and do it for others, and then figure out how to train others on how to effectively carry out the processes. So I think that's like a big key, and one other point to mention too is that we understand what the bank's policies are. Some banks will allow you to do things online. Some have the best strategy of applying being through a relationship manager. And other times you have to just walk into the branch, because that's, what the bank requires you to do based on their policies, right? Based on their fraud and all these other different things that they may throw at you. So we do a fair amount of, guiding people through each potential option that makes the most sense for them so they could get the best results possible.
That's one of the things that I find astonishing about what you do, right? Is that I'll give you an example. I had a guy once that didn't want to pay a fee to get have somebody as smart as you to be able to do the 0%. So we even helped him get his financials and everything ready. Went into his bank, and I think he walked away with $8,500. The guy would have got $80,000 with you. I mean, every bit of it, right? And then he comes back. He goes, "I didn't work out like I wanted it to now," and I'm like, it's too late. Like you have the whole thing up, trying it on your own. I can't tell you how many people I run into that are like that, where they're too cheap to find, like you are the mentor that helps you get get the result that you get. They think they can do it on their own. Man, 100% of the time it's been disaster. Like 100% of the time it's disaster. Then they come back and they're like, "Save me." It's like, you can't be saved. You put all these unnecessary inquiries, all this negative stuff happens as a result of you trying to do it on your own. I see it quite a bit. Do you see that
True.
happen on your end as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it comes down to, you build up that belief in your mind that you don't need to pay for it, right? Like, I can figure it out on my own. And I used to have that same mindset. But, after a certain amount of times, like, I think you have to like learn your lesson sometimes. It kind of stinks. But if you could, learn that lesson faster and realize that it's actually worth paying people who know what they're doing to get your results faster. Because otherwise you're just trialing and erroring with it. And recently, I'll give like a quick story. I probably just made one of the biggest investments I've ever made in my life, only like 2 months ago. It was a $500,000 investment to work with Grant Cardone, Brandon Dawson, and their team over at Cardone Ventures, because I'm that serious about growing my business and helping as many people as possible alongside my mission, vision, and values of my company. and making sure that we are driving the biggest impact in the space. And what they're going to really be doing over there is really diving into the business, diving into the comp plans, diving into the processes, diving into the structures, things like that, which I was very stubborn during the sale because I said, well, I know I have similar mentors to, who Grant and Brandon talk to, and I can figure this out on my own. And I think I just sat there and thought to myself, like, well, am I really going to walk away and say I can't have that? Am I just going to, like pretend like I know it all already? Or am I just going to end up paying and realize the fact that, I can recreate that money again? And now I'm going to have the experience of obtaining the knowledge that I know is going to be valuable to me and being able to take steps forward in my business and learn from someone who's already doing it at the scale of which I want to be doing it.
It's so true. And if you're watching this, let me speak to this because we've tried at Credit Suite 3 times in our existence. And by the way, like this month we celebrate our 10-year anniversary, so we've been around a long
Oh,
time.
congrats.
Thank
That's
you. I
incredible.
appreciate it. So 3 times we've tried to bring this in-house and do 0% card financing. We failed every time. And the third time we had somebody that had been doing this for a long time. But it's not that we failed. The problem is we can't produce the results that Andrew produces. We've tried and we cannot duplicate it. So if you're watching this and you think, well, it's about going out and applying for a 0% card, I can't even begin to express how complicated this is. You have to know every single bank. You have to know their policies. You have to know what changes. You have to know which bureau they're actually pulling. You have to know which bureau they're actually reporting to.
It's
Like Andrew
true.
said, you got to know if you got to go in there. You got to know how the best way is to submit an application. Do you need a relationship? Do you not need a relationship? Chase has 100 credit cards. Which is the credit card that's going to give you 0%? Which is going to give you 0% for the longest term? Which is going to give you the best rewards? I mean, I literally, I could sit here for an hour and just spit 100,000 things that there's involved with what you guys do. So it is really complex, Andrew. Like to be able to produce the results you have, I don't think people understand how hard it is to get the result you get, where it makes sense to get. I mean, because I'm there, I listen to your clients raving about the results. But can you speak to that? Because this is way more complex than we could ever probably dive into in a 30-minute interview.
No, yeah, it's true. No, and it at first you think it is very simple, right? I mean, it's just as simple as going online and applying for the card. But the one difference between working with a company like ours versus working by yourself is that we're doing it every day. So we're up to speed with what the bank's policies are and what the best way of applying really is. Do you have to walk? There's going to be 3 ways that anyone would ever apply. You either walk into a branch, just do an online application, or you could work with a relationship manager remotely or in the branch. And it's going to usually come down to one of those 3 buckets. And note as well that, different banks will work with different industries, right? Like understanding your NAICS code and really getting a clear grasp of what your business actually is, what activities do they engage in on a daily basis. And there's all these components that add up into it. And so why I think we're able to get results so quickly for people is because, just by the way that they're explaining their business to us, what they're trying to do, what they're looking to do, we could start pinpointing these things together. It's gotten to a point now where, as soon as I start speaking to someone and they give me maybe like 2 or 3 pieces of information, including like their credit score, maybe where they live and all these other things, I already have their funding plan in my mind on, what places they're going to go to, how they're going to do it. And as long as they could follow instructions and participate in the process, because that's how we really get the best results, because they participate. We're not just doing things behind a closed curtain. They're actually participating, and that allows us to take advantage of the best strategy for each place because they're involved, which is what the bank wants. But that's how we're able to get such great results, because we actually participate and work one-on-one with our clients. And as long as they're participating and following our instructions, they're going to do very well, like 99.9% of the time, with that 0.1% for those extremely rare cases where the most weird results can happen sometimes.
Yeah, and I love that you say that because if you're watching this, this is what he's describing is it's called mastery, right? This is what happens when you have 10,000 plus hours dedicated to one thing. In LP, we call it unconscious competence, right? I mean, it can just happen automatically in his head. Something that would take you months to get 5% is he's calculating mentally in his head. That is the definition of mastery. So when you talk about 0%, it sounds too good to be true, right? I mean, so let's address the
Oh, we get
elephant in
that
the
a lot.
room. Like people hear that and they're like, is it really a thing? How does somebody really get 0% fun?
Sure. And I think it has to do with how, we've been programmed just growing up, right? Like, I think people are programmed to think about savings. So they're programmed to know that these credit cards have cashback offers, they have points, right? How many points do I have that I could go travel for free? Or, what card should I go use at the grocery store? Should I get this Target credit card because it has 5% cash back, right? And so we're very familiar with the cashback offers, but if you look a little bit closer, many of your favorite credit cards, like a Discover card or a Chase Freedom card, or like a Bank of America customized cash rewards card or a Citi card, a lot of these credit cards, a lot of people overlook the fact that they have a promotional 0% offer on purchases or balance transfers for usually the first 6 to 18 months. Usually it's 6 to 18 months on business credit cards. So the same cashback points and promotional interest offers that apply to personal credit cards are available on business credit cards as well. And so the way that you get it is it really comes down to your personal credit score. And I get a lot of people that, are just brand new starting a business. And one of the few problems that we really run into is I think they want stuff that has no personal guarantee. And some people are going to watch this and say, what's a personal guarantee? What's a no personal guarantee? Is that a personal guarantee means that you're going to repay the debt. You're guaranteeing that you yourself, like say it's me, Andrew Imbesi, is going to repay the debt and the liability is not exactly on the business. Then this is where I think, people like yourself are so helpful because it's not always easy for people to get that corporate liability only credit, especially when you consider the facts that 97% of businesses go out of business in 10 years and 2 out of 3 businesses go out of business in 5 years. So the bank really wants to make sure that they could get their money back. And so what's the way that they're going to determine whether or not they can get their money back? It's going to be basically looking at your credit score, looking at your personal credit factors. And the only other point I'd say to that as well is that obviously you have to have a good personal credit score because they're going to ask you to, personally guarantee it. But also the banks that are offering 0% that you could go and spend the money on anything are typically going to be your big banks, regional banks, and everyday credit unions or banks that you're oftentimes going to, go walk up to and go to.
So what? And then, by the way, I deal with it all the time. Everybody wants to come in and get no PG funding. It's like personal guarantees are required to you to improve yourself, right? And part of what you're doing is helping them prove themselves. You're creating a history to show other credit issuers and lenders, hey, this business pays its bills as agreed. And when you have that history, then you can start to get away from personal guarantees. But you can never get away from personal guarantees until you start that history and show them. And this is exactly what your program helps do. If I want to work with you, so what's the process like to start working with you? Like, walk us through what that experience is like.
Sure. Yeah, and the client experience is extremely important, and you want to make it as fast and easy as possible for people to go through, right? Because no one likes things that are complex and long and, hidden with a ton of surprises, right? So what it looks like if someone were to get started with us and go through the entire process is that step number 1 is hopping on a call with our team, right? First of all, we want to make sure that you're actually qualified to get started with us because we're not going to sign people up who wouldn't be able to get funding because it's going to cost me payment processing fees to, charge your credit cards and then have to refund you if you don't qualify, right? And so once someone enrolls, right, we make sure that they're qualified. We make sure that, they have the credit score required. They have all the factors that add up to, a good file that we could go and bring to banks. Once we get them enrolled, right, they'll hop on an onboarding call where we're going to take all that information, put it on a piece of paper. That way, that piece of paper is our reference point throughout the whole thing, right? Really, the first step after someone enrolls is just we got to get on the same page as you. We got to know what your profile looks like. So that way we know what we're working with. So, we set up a communication channel. These are like the small little things that add up and are very important. Like they get a one-on-one communication channel with a funding supervisor and a funding director. So that way they have multiple people they can reach out to. They know what email to reach out to if they have requests. So we get that one-on-one chat set up. We get their profile. We get everything that we need. And depending on where they're at, there's usually 3 routes that they have to go. They either, number one, we have to help them incorporate a business. So if they need help incorporating an LLC or an S Corp or whatever, we'll help them do that. If that step's knocked out, we make sure that the profile is as great as it can possibly be before we start the funding plan. And so sometimes that involves people paying down credit cards. So if they have to pay down their credit cards before the next due date, they'll go and do that. And these are all like very simple steps. Like this doesn't take a lot of time, right? And after, we make sure that the profile is where it needs to be, they have a business, they have an EIN, all those things, we'll present them the funding plan that they came here for. We'll explain this is how we apply to each place. We'll help lock in what all of their application answers are going to be. We'll help them lock in on their NAICS code. We'll help them lock in on all the different answers that are added up in their application. And then we'll show them the best strategy for each place. We'll end up applying for places that we could do together online. We'll, send emails together. We'll get in touch with relationship managers together since we already have so many. So our clients don't actually have to do the hard work of go finding them themselves. And then even on our Zoom calls and through our Voxer channel, because that's the communication channel that we use, we'll make sure that we're coaching them and explaining to them, this is how you're going to go walk into this place, because they could scoop up a lot of extra money by just walking into places where you can't do them online. So we're coaching them on how to go walk into the bank, right? Just depending on where they live and what options are available on their funding plan. And from there, that's really it. It's a very fast, easy process. That's why we're able to say, like, you could get anywhere between $50,000 to $250,000 in the next 30 days, but as long as you're qualified, as long as you have that 700 plus credit score, you have a business, right? All those things add up, then you could get pretty good results. But overall, it's a relatively very quick process. If our clients are participating, they're following instructions, they're showing up, it's going to be a walk in the park very fast.
What are some of the common misconceptions people have coming in?
Ooh, that's a very good question. That sometimes I think they think that they're going to get like all this money guaranteed, right? Like they think that I'm sure you probably run into it sometimes too. Like they think that they're going to get these approvals guaranteed, but at the end of the day, results are going to vary based on the applicant. Everyone has a different credit score. Everyone has comparable credit limits, since that's also a factor. They're going to look and see what's the highest amount of credit that you've ever managed before in your life. They're going to look at all these different things. It's very important to understand what they're going to look at. And so everyone's results are going to be different based on where they live, what their credit score is. And at the end of the day, we aren't making the final decision. We're just showing you the best strategy, which we've seen work. There are some strategies where, like, say if you did strategy number 1, you're going to get 10,000. But if you know and do strategy number 2 correctly, it could be $50,000, right? So at the end of the day, like, we aren't making the final decision. The bank is making the final decision, and we're working together as a team. We're expecting that you participate. As long as you participate and follow instructions, we have the best strategy that's going to work out for you, and you could go ahead and apply. But just so you know, everyone's results are going to be different based on their credit score. And the only reason why someone may not get results is not just because of it's not because of the strategy. The strategy we've done for over 3,000 people. So we know the strategy works. The only reason it could come down to a denial or not the limit that you want is usually going to be based on your credit score or some kind of factor that they saw, right? Based on their evaluation of your profile. That's probably one of the common misconceptions that we get, in that, oh, it's going to happen in 30 days. It's only going to happen in 30 days if you participate. It takes maybe like 2 hours to do all of this, not including banks that they would walk in person to. But if it included banks that they walk in person to, let's account for an hour for each bank they walk in person to. But overall, to apply for like what, 6 or 12 different business credit cards, like that's not going to take more than 2 hours. And we need your participation so that way we could leverage the bank's policies to get you the best results. So that's probably like the number one thing that we run into sometimes is like, hey, we need you to like participate a little bit so that way you get the best results. And at the end of the day, like we don't make the decision on how much you get approved for. It's like, we're here to help you out. We're here to hold your hand. I've done this strategy like 4, 5 times. I now have over $1 million of credit, and it's just consistency, discipline, follow through, all these like small little things. And it's not even a lot of work. It's just a small tool in the tool belt in starting your business.
Is it really only based on consumer credit? The reason I say that is that, you know, the obstacles I see people struggle with is they need revenue to get most kind of financing. You and I both know almost all of the funding out there requires revenue. Then they need collateral too. It's secured. So, or one or the other. And so most people I
That's
see
such a
that need
great
funding,
question.
they don't have that. They don't have those things. So is this truly just based on credit, not the revenue, not the collateral?
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but this is like an entry level product for a business credit card. I think a lot of people as well come in wanting a business loan. They want incoming a business line of credit. What they could do is actually liquidate their business credit cards and turn those business credit cards into cash without having to pay a cash advance fee. And they get to pay it back at 0% interest, depending on whether they do a balance transfer or purchase, right? So that's like the big thing. It is really just your credit score. We even have businesses that are a day old that are still getting approved. And look, here's the deal. The bank knows that your business is a day old. So they know that you haven't started making any revenue yet when they get a fresh file. Like I guarantee there's someone inside our group right now. Today is what? Like we're in the middle of June and they probably opened up their LLC in the beginning of June, right? And the bank is going to see that and they're going to know, okay, well, this business was incorporated, what, like a week ago? And they're going to know there's zero income, but that's why they're buying into you through your credit score. They look at your credit score, they make sure that your credit score is good. And as long as you're a good borrower and you know what you're going into business for makes sense as well, even sometimes the business industry for a business credit card is not like a huge deal as much as it is when you get to harder lending products. When you start getting into like business line of credit or business loans, your industry matters more and more and more. Even at the business credit card level, there's going to be some red flag industries still, but there's not going to be nearly as many as you get to with these higher up lending products that you start experiencing.
Somebody's just trying to get funding. They're just in the beginning stages. What's your best advice to give them if they're interested in pursuing 0% funding?
0% funding. I think, really understand the best strategy for each place. You know, a lot of people really only need like 100,000 or 50,000 but they don't realize that they can just get that on a business credit card. And even if you need cash, all you need to do is just like charge the credit card through someone's payment processor or whatever and get the money wired back to you. Not many banks like it, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. And so at the end of the day, like the best lending product that really is out there for a beginner is going to be a 0% interest business credit card. It's very easy to get. All you need is a good credit score. You could have a business that's a day old. And, you know, as long as you understand the best strategy for each place, that could be the difference between you getting a $10,000 approval and a $50,000 approval. And the banks want to help you. The banks are not like these scary underwriters, these spooky guys that, you know, don't want to see you get approved. They're not, some banks are a little like that, but many of the good banks want to help you. They want to lend you money. You know, they make money on the transactions. They make money if you open a checking account. There's many reasons why they want to get you in the door with a 0% credit card. So, you know, they want to help you out and, you know, you just need to understand the best strategy for each place so you get the best possible results.
So if I'm watching this right now, want to take a next step, want to learn more, what should I do?
You should come schedule a call with us so we could determine whether or not we could help you out. Number one thing, like I mentioned, right, is making sure that you're qualified. If you're not qualified, then we'll tell you that you're not qualified, right? But we'll always try to give people a shot You know, at a certain point, sometimes there's like people like if you have like a 500 credit score and it's like a bunch of late payments and collections, like we're just going to tell you no. But, you know, we want to help as many people as possible as with this because it's worked for me. It's changed my life. It's been able to help me learn skills, meet new people, and experience just business at a very high level. So, you know, for anyone who wants to work with us, I know Ty, you have a link that you want to share, but you could go to bowgroupmedia.com/chase dash new dash program. And, you know, you could learn a little bit more about us there. So you could schedule a call. You could message me on Instagram, whatever you may choose. Not like, but yeah, you should definitely schedule a call with us to learn if, you know, we can help you out. And it's a completely free call, by the way. If you decide you want to work with us, we could talk about what our pricing looks like, but it's a completely free call to determine whether or not you actually qualify to get 0% interest funding.
Andrew, thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ty.
All right, so listen, the place to go and write this down. I'll say it once and I'll say it again before we wrap up. It is bogegroupmedia.com. So it's BOGE groupmedia.com.
That's
BOGE
right.
dot media groupmedia.com. So let me say that one more time. bogegroupmedia.com. BOGE groupmedia.com. Then you're going to put /chase dash new program. So that's
Correct.
bogegroupmedia.com /chase dash new dash program. When you go there, there's a video training that you can actually access about the new program to be able to access 150,000. Make sure you take that action right now. Look, one of the biggest mistakes I personally see entrepreneurs make is that entrepreneurs come in and they're trying to, it's like they try to find the hardest way to get funding for a new business. They're coming in asking for $50,000 loans and credit lines, of which no bank is going to give you. It's just not a thing. But then this is an easier path, which gets you more money because these type of 0% cards that Andrew helps you get is the easiest path to get funding. It is the easiest route than anything else out there. I'm one of the only guys out there that deals with every legitimate kind of funding that's out there. This accounts for more funding than any other program we've ever seen. It is very successful the way that Andrew does it. And the way that Andrew does it is very unique. You don't find anybody out there that is giving the blueprint to walk into the bank to get more, to treat this bank differently. His blueprint is what will get you the maximum funding through the easiest path possible. So here's what to do. Go to bogegroupmedia.com /chase dash new dash program. I'll put a link on the show resources page for you to do this as well. Watch the video training and then take a next step to talk to Andrew and his team. I mean, it costs you nothing to just figure out, can you qualify? What can you qualify for? So make sure you go to bogegroupmedia.com /chase dash new dash program right now to watch the video training about how to get up to 150,000. And then you're able to schedule a call with Andrew as well. So thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you go to bogegroupmedia.com /chase dash new program right now to get on the way to getting up to $150,000 in 0% funding to launch and grow your business. Take care. Have a great day.